Fallout Equestria Survivors Guild, Chapter 12, Part 4. While I got a few strange looks as I moved down the hallway towards where Star was being held, most of the ponies paid no attention to me. Wow, okay, the Enclave really needed to consider redesigning their helmets or something, because this really shouldn't be that easy to do. I opened the door and found the room where Star was strapped to a bed, writhing in pain. She had stopped screaming, but she was still alive at least. There was only one guard, so I guess that they didn't think any pony would be in here.
Hey, what are you doing in here?
The guard said as she looked at me.
My shift isn't even over for an hour. Oh, well, the general told me to come relieve you. You're needed at the office for a performance evaluation.
I said. They did those in the military, right?
He said I can take over for you until the shift is over. My last evaluation was last month.
The mayor pointed out.
Why is he springing another one on me now? Look, I don't know why. I'm just a messenger.
I said with a shrug. This wasn't working out like I had hoped.
I'll just have to call...
She started to say as she turned her back on me, then got shot by my energy weapon.
Really just should've left.
I said as I took out the anti-venom and ran over to where Star was.
Hang on, sir. I've got you.
It took a minute for her to hold still long enough, but we finally got the anti-venom into her mouth. She shook for a little bit longer before it took effect, and she fell back, breathing heavily. She looked over at me and smirked a little.
You're a little short to be an Enclave soldier. Why do ponies always keep calling me short?
I said with a groan as I helped her get up.
Come on, let's get you into this power armor. Okay.
Star said. She looked a little out of it as I helped her into the power armor.
Thank you, Scootaloo. I assume Vex broke you out. Yeah, thanks for that, by the way.
I said as we finally secured the power armor. We just had a hope that we could find her cybernetic wing, and that no pony would notice that she was missing one.
Come on, let's get going.
She nodded and we headed out of the room. We headed for the atrium where the sound of battle was heard. Whatever the distraction it had been was working better than I had expected. When we reached the entrance, there was a group of holographic soldiers fighting against the Enclave forces, while my friends were firing from behind cover.
Now that is what I call a distraction,
I said with a chuckle as we joined in the fight, firing our battle saddles at the Enclave soldiers.
Yeah, well, it was easy enough to program once we knew what to do,
Ark said with a nod as she took out one of the soldiers.
Funny thing about holograms, they don't kill you, but at least they do put you out of commission, apparently. Good to know, good to know.
I said with a chuckle as I fired at another one of the soldiers, taking them out.
So, what's the plan from here?
We're still working on it, Gearframe said, which made me face off. We're cut off from the door at the moment, so if you have any ideas, we'd love to hear them. I paused for a moment as I fired another pair of shots at an Enclave soldier that was getting a little too close for comfort. If our exit was cut off, then there really wasn't a whole lot we could do except hope that we could somehow draw them away from the door. Oh, what I wouldn't do for a teleport right now, that would be really useful. What I didn't see at the time, however, was an Enclave sniper that was lining up a shot at me. Some pony else did though, and just as the sniper took a shot, they pushed me out of the way and took the brunt of the shot to the chest, sending both of us sprawling. Gearframe laid there on the ground with a wound in his chest. He was alive, but barely. Ark took aim at the sniper and took them out, but the damage was already done.
Come on, Gearframe, come on! You're gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay!
I said as I held him in my forelegs, struggling to find a healing potion in my bags.
You've still got a lot to live for. You want to see your granddaughter again, right? Don't you?
Scootaloo, it's okay, he said weakly. I should have died 30 years ago with the rest of my stable. I'm nothing more than a walking corpse. Been that way ever since Nature and Honeydew died.
No, don't think like that. You're gonna be just fine. We'll get you healed.
I said in protest. I wasn't gonna let the stallion die. I wasn't gonna let the last survivor of Stable 117 die on me.
This is all my fault. I built these stables and created these experiments. Your death is on me.
No, it's not. Gearframe wheezed out as he placed a hoof on my face. Scootaloo, you did everything you could to help me in my stable. Promise me one thing. You'll make sure that the holograms are turned back on. let Stable 117 continue to live.
I will. I promise.
I said as I started to cry.
I'll always remember you, Gearframe. I promise.
Here. Take this. It's me, he said, and took out a holodisc and gave it to me before his eyes closed. Keep on living for me. Promise me.
I promise. I promise.
I said as Gearframe took one last breath and then went limp in my forelegs. He was gone. The tragedy of Stable 117 had claimed its last victim. I barely remember what happened next. There was a lot of shouting and gunfire as ponies and others swarmed into the stable from outside, and I later learned that Colonel Quill had gotten worried about us after reports had come in about the Enclave being in the area and had dispatched his troops to back us up. The Enclave had been either killed or captured, but General Cloudchaser and Tornado had escaped. The best guess any pony had was when Tornado had teleported the two of them out of the stable and no pony knew where they'd gone. Finally, the time came to fulfill Gearframe's last request, but first we buried him into the orchard of Stable 117. Very few ponies in stables had ever been given that honor, and I felt that he deserved it just as much as the others did. I had Arclight add the holodisc he had given me to the holographic system. He said it was himself, and I understood what he wanted us to do with it.
So, are we ready to turn it back on?
I asked Arc.
Yeah, it should be all repaired and the upgrade should hold for a long time.
Arc said as she stepped back from the device. And the NCR will be maintaining a presence here as well. I've okayed it with Junction Town, Quill said with a nod. Stable 117 will survive, just like he would have wanted. I nodded, but before we did that, there was one more thing that had to be done. I sat down at the Overmare's desk and entered the code. I knew what the answer was, but I just wanted to check anyway. And the key was gone. That was 2 keys, probably 3 with Stable 14. I looked up to Arc and nodded as she turned the holograms back on. The vibrant Stabletown had reappeared with Bluebell, Sunshine, and Gearframe.
What happened? Who are these ponies?
Bluebell asked as she saw Quill and the other NCR ponies.
Oh, don't worry, Mayor. These are friends of ours from out of town.
I said with a smile.
They're here to help the town in the event of any more problems.
I'm Colonel Quill from the new Canterlot Republic. We're glad to extend the hoof of friendship to Stabletown in order to help, Quill said as he offered a hoof to Bluebell.
Thank you, Colonel,
Bluebell said as she shook his hoof.
We'll be glad to have you and the NCR here.
I smiled as I went out to where Gearframe and Sunshine were talking with a yellow Earth Pony mare with a short green mane. She was looking a bit surprised, but was hugging Sunshine and smiling.
Hey, Scootaloo! Mommy and Daddy are back!
Sunshine said happily as we approached.
It's nice to meet you. Your father has told me all about you.
I said with a smile as I offered the mare a hoof.
I don't understand what happened, but it's nice to meet you too.
Honeydew said as she shook my hoof.
Sunshine said you and your friends helped us come back. We did.
Arc said with a nod.
We were glad to help.
Thank you. Again. Gearframe said with a nod, and I nodded back sadly. It was hard to look at the old stallion now, but I knew that this was what he wanted.
You're welcome. Anything for family.
I said with a smile. So, what are you gonna do with this power armor? Gearframe asked as he looked at the armor I was wearing.
Well, sell most of it probably. I might keep the battle saddle though.
I said as I nodded at the twin energy rifles.
We should probably get going.
Star said. She managed to find her wing and was flexing it at the moment.
I've got us to transport back to Nomad City. Aw, you have to go?
Sunshine asked.
Sorry, Sunshine, but there are many more ponies out there that need our help.
I said, and I hugged the filly gently.
We'll be back someday. I promise. I'll hold you to that.
Sunshine said with a smile, and she hugged back. We stayed in the stable a little longer before heading out. The tunnel had been cleared by this point, and it was just a matter of heading through the tunnels and out into the old stadium.
When we get back to Nomad City, we're heading to Ponyville,
Star said as we got into the Vertibuck.
The NCR has gotten some new intel that might help uncover the mystery of how the Enclave has been hijacking all the clear signal. That's good, but why are we going to Ponyville?
I asked.
Not so much Ponyville as Sweet Apple Acres.
Star said as we got strapped in.
What's at Sweet Apple Acres?
Cherry asked.
Well, if you believe the rumors, a pony who looks a heck of a lot like Apple Bloom.
Star said as the vertibuck took off.
Wait, what?
I said in shock. I didn't expect that at all. Level up. Perk received. Where'd you purchase that? Rank 1. Details. You've managed to gain skill in magical energy weapons to use in combat, so you have magic guns now. You gain an extra 10 points in magical energy weapons.